Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric, and the Game Awards have come and gone. And I'm going to be making a video with my thoughts on highlights and things that overall impressions of the whole event, because the Game Awards, whether you like them or not, are a pivotal point in the gaming industry every year. It's kind of like a little mini E3. There's lots of announcements, but one announcement stuck out to me, and that's from Sega. Growing up as an 80s, 90s kid, Nintendo and Sega were the powerhouse franchise creators, gaming industry. So many nostalgic memories with different franchises like Sonic, Alex Kidd, Outrun, and you name it. Well, Sega, out of nowhere, in the middle of the Game Awards, made a little 90-second announcement that they are reviving 5 of their classic franchises. And I'm pretty stoked, along with a lot of you guys that are retro gamers as well. And I had people ask me in my stream the other day if I had thoughts on this, and here we go. We're gonna make my thoughts video. So the 5 game franchises that are going to be essentially brought back from the dead. We got Jet Set Radio, Streets of Rage, and Golden Axe, Shinobi, and a couple others that are escaping my mind at this moment. But as we talk, I'm sure I'll get them. But this is big because for the longest time, it seems like all Sega gives a crap about is Sonic the Hedgehog and making a new Sonic game every year. In fact, we just had a Sonic game just come out, and I still haven't played it because I'm burnt out on Sonic. Let's be honest, I like the little blue blur. I think he's cute. He's adorable. I've been playing Sonic games since I've been like 6 or 7 years old. But the time has come, ladies and gentlemen. We want classic franchises, not just from Sega, but Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, you name it. There's a lot of classic franchises out there that us gamers that are in our 30s and 40s want to play again. We want to relive those days of the 90s where we have our pizza rolls cooking and our mommy hands us our chalky milks. We wait and we get our greasy little hands on those controllers. Nostalgia sells, guys. And Sega, they haven't been in the console industry for quite some time, over 20 years. Gosh, I feel old from that. The Dreamcast has been buried for a long time, ladies and gentlemen, and some of these franchises have. So we're going to talk about this. These upcoming entries are no slouches. Jet Set Radio, let's start with that one. I never personally played it. I think it was a game that came with your OG Xbox, or it was a game for the OG Xbox. Never ever sunk the teeth into it because I didn't get an OG Xbox until actually just the other day. Daryl Best, shout out to you. Send it out to the P.O. box. I have an OG Xbox now, finally. And Jet Set Radio seemed like one of those cool, I guess, fun little games. I always hear a lot of people praise it. I think Hi-Fi Rush was a game that came out last year that was like a spiritual successor to it. So I'm looking forward to possibly checking it out and seeing if it's everything that everybody has hyped it up to be. That's the thing. When I hear games get hyped up, I'm like, all right, there's got to be something behind that. Now, the other franchise is one that I'm a little bit more familiar with, and that's Shinobi, a ninja action game that has you like rescuing hostages in the OG games from like the arcade. I played it on the Sega Master System, which was actually quite memorable for me. It was like one of the first games I ever played growing up. And then, you know, of course, the Sega Genesis Shinobis are really well known. I had one on the Game Gear that was pretty cool as well. So I have some kind of nostalgia for Shinobi. I remember it being actually quite kind of hard, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it. You know, ninja games are awesome. Always have been. Who doesn't love ninjas? I mean, look, The Messenger came out a few years ago and was like a homage to Ninja Gaiden and stuff like that. Now, the next game is a beat 'em up game called Golden Axe that was also brought out. They just kind of had a resurgence with that with the arcade one up Golden Axe that came out, and I've always kind of had a thing for barbarian type of I guess genre of movies like Conan and video games and like Dungeons and Dragons stuff and things of that nature. And Golden Axe scratched that itch way back in the day. Plus, I used to think the female protagonist was hot, and I used to be like a 6 and 7 year old checking out her butt and her legs. I'm just joking. But Golden Axe is going to be revived, and that is one of their money-making franchises, I feel, that they hadn't capitalized on in quite some time. Top of that, Streets of Rage. Now, we did have a Streets of Rage game come out a couple years ago. but I don't think Sega directly developed it. I think it was made by a indie company that did very well with it. Streets of Rage 4 did great. It was a fun game. It had great graphics, great gameplay. It had that old school vibe to it. I played it on both PlayStation and Xbox, as well as a Nintendo Switch. So that tells you how much I really enjoyed it. And now that I guess Sega saw that it did really good, maybe they're thinking about bringing that franchise back and directing it themselves. So that's always fantastic. And then last but not least, and this one is actually quite surprising because I used to play the arcade of this one, and I know the Dreamcast version has always had a really well received notion from it, and I think it was also on Xbox and GameCube and stuff. It's Crazy Taxi. This is a game that I think a lot of people have fond memories of playing in the arcade. It's wacky, it's wild. You take passengers from point A to point B within a time limit. It's probably one of the best arcade games of all time from Sega, if not from any arcade video game developer. Now, this is basically, I guess, a treasure trove of iconic series. You think of Sega, you think of some of their franchises that they've had that have laid dormant, and I think these are like 5 of the most in-demand franchises that they have outside of like Sonic the Hedgehog. And, I guess the only thing that could probably beat this is if somehow they bring Virtua Fighter back and some of the Virtua series and maybe a new Panzer Dragoon and, things of that nature. But they showed off some gameplay in this announcement that I think looked pretty good. Strike me if I'm wrong. I think it was all pretty new gameplay that was being highlighted in this. And they look a lot more than just remakes. It looks like maybe they're doing some legit effort into this. You could make a lazy remake or updated port with some graphics, Mario RPG, and call it a day and people will buy it. But I feel reimagining these games for a modern audience will definitely do wonders for Sega. I think the hype, more than enough, is there. And it's wild to think, Sega, this day and age, with, I guess, how dormant they've been, the sleeping giant in the gaming industry, having all these franchises that they're finally deciding to come out. I mean, the only other companies I could think of that are comparable to being just as dormant as Sega at this point is Capcom and Konami. I feel that those two companies could do some damage if they woke up and started, I guess, reimagining a lot of their games and their dormant franchises and bringing them out there. So 2023, when you think of Sega as a whole, they really didn't do much. But it looks like 2024 and beyond are going to definitely be something else. I think 2023 we had that Like a Dragon Ninja Gaiden, not Ninja Gaiden, Like a Dragon Gaiden Ishin. And then we also had, I guess, a couple of other games that came out that I can't think of at this moment. But they're not the classic franchises. They're not the classic franchises that us retro gamers want, that we crave to play, that we dream of a new game coming that's like Crazy Taxi or a new Golden Axe. Sonic. I'm tired of Sonic. No disrespect, but they need to give Sonic a break. All right? I don't think Sonic games are that masterful or that masterpiece or that great. To be honest, a lot of them are kind of so-so or mediocre. Maybe games that you could play for like a week or two and then you move on. There hasn't been a Sonic game that's wowed me in years. Sonic Frontiers came close to an extent, but then after a while, it suffered from the same problems that a lot of other Sonic games come from. Sonic Mania was probably the last one. And it's like Sonic, Yoshi, and Kirby are like the 3 gaming franchises that always get video games. Like every year, there's like a Sonic, Yoshi, or a Kirby game of some sort. Let's let those guys sleep. Let's let those guys rest for a little bit. And let's get some classic franchises, not just from Sega, but from Nintendo as well. And Capcom and Konami, because 90s guys, us 90s babies, us 80s babies, those games from those eras are still selling like hotcakes. Those franchises are still just as hot and important as ever. And they're literally sitting on gold mines. I know, it's get with the times. There might be some of these little Fortnite kids being like, come on, man, those games suck. There's no online or better. Well, I think there's potential. I think there's potential that Sega could really do. And I think they're coming out swinging because this announcement is all that I've been thinking about. All that a lot of other gamers have been thinking about since the Game Awards on Thursday. So what are you guys most excited for? I have a feeling a lot of you guys really want the Crazy Taxi and the Jet Set Radio. And then there's a lot of you guys that are stoked for some of these games. But what other franchises besides these 5 would you like Sega to bring back? Let me know. Maybe Phantasy Star? That would be a good one, right? I think that would be potential. I used to play a lot of Phantasy Star too. So yeah, comment down below, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, guys. Let's boost these numbers up. Share this video. By God, please share this video to your friends and your family, your Sancha, your ex-girlfriend. Comment down below as well. Let's get the engagement up and hit them likes. I know I hate begging for it, but you have to because this YouTube system has stupid algorithms and crap that are so fucking frustrating. Just about as frustrating as Sega not bringing classic franchises back. But anyways, thank you guys for watching.